where we are today with Draymond is okay. And I'm gonna echo Joe Dumars, right? Because we had a similar player on our team with similar situations in Dennis Rodman. Mm-hmm. And when Rodman was with the Detroit Pistons, we looked at Rodman as a human being. How can we help you, right? And I listened to Joe today with ESPN, and we all know Draymond well. Draymond came up, as a Detroit Piston, bad boy, so forth and so on. And he's won championships. But what are we going to do with the human being now? How are you going to live the rest of your life? You got wife, you got kids. Okay, let's look at the totality of the picture, not just the basketball part of it, because we all love what he does on the basketball floor when we talk about points, rebounds, the effect that he has. But now this is outside of the basketball floor. This is potentially can impact you for the next 15, 20 years, for the rest of your life, how people are going to perceive you, view you, look at you. Hall of Fame, all that other stuff comes into play. So how can we help you as a person get to the next level? That's where I sit with Draymond Green. If I'm president of a team, and we've had similar situations before where I was in New York and we had some tough situations we had to deal with, and Jamal was there, I always looked at the human being first and then try to go from there, as opposed to looking at what's happened on the court, what the penalty is going to be, how he's going to get fined, how many games he's going to miss. That's not important. The most important thing now is how we look at him as a human being moving forward, and how can we all help him? How can this brotherhood of the NBA assist one of our brothers who's in need right now? Who's in need right now? How do we help him? And that's where I come in, and that's where I play. And I reached out to his agent and let him know that, hey, Draymond, if you need me, if I can be there to assist, to get you back to where you need to be, I am here for you, brother, right? So that's where I sit.
And nothing's going to happen in terms of progress for him until he acknowledges what has happened and what he needs to do. That seems to be happening based on the reporting that there is out there, that Draymond and the Players Association, his agent, aren't looking to appeal the suspension. Yeah. They're looking to find a resolution that works for the team, that works for the league, and ultimately works for him as well. If you're Draymond's teammate, what conversation would you like to have with him?
I think the one person who could have that conversation as a teammate is Steph Curry, because he's the leader of the organization. I think Draymond looks at him like a true brother. He knows he wants the best for him. And maybe Steph has had that conversation. We don't know. But if I'm a teammate, I'm going to ask if he's okay. Just what's important to him is he has to be there for us and be available. I'm glad that he can work out with the team, because as players, we know we all understand a little bit differently than your family would. We're going through it together. So I'm glad he can work out. And when you play with that much fire, things like this can happen. But history, that play specifically was out of bounds. And that part bothered me, because Draymond, we love you. We love how you play. We love the fire you play with. But that was out of bounds. And as Zeke said, you need a timeout on that one.
Yes. Yes.
And so for him going forward, I think he absolutely needs to find what the root of the problem is and kind of address that and go from there. But as long as everybody's pushing the right direction, I think that problem can be found.
And also, I want to say this to the general public at large, right? Let's be careful of the words that we use and the labels that we attach and the stereotypes that we play into, right? When you're labeling somebody mentally ill, or he's got a mental problem, let's be careful with that. Because, again, he has family, he's got wife, he's got kids that are going to go to school tomorrow, and we know how crazy and mean kids can be. So we, in this NBA Brotherhood Association, let's be careful with our words and how we describe the situation and what we say about it, because his kids do have to deal with this situation in school every day. So let's be mindful of that.
Well, and remember, no one knows what's going on in someone else's head, but clearly the behavior has crossed a line. Everyone acknowledges that. Draymond Green seems to acknowledge that as well.
But that don't mean you're mentally ill.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I don't know who is, to be honest. Anyway, that'll resolve itself. Meanwhile, Golden State will be without a key player here, Jamal, for the